Are you a thoughtful leader? Maybe you are. Maybe you think you are. Let's find out. I'm Mindy Gibbins-Klein. I'm author of The Thoughtful Leader and host of the Thoughtful Leader podcast. Thoughtful leadership is all about thought leadership that goes above and beyond. Thought leadership that is truly new and original, exciting, disruptive, maybe even groundbreaking. Because let's face it, we need to raise the bar. My guests and I are absolutely obsessed with finding truly original thought leadership, and I'm going to bring you so many exciting ideas and opportunities, things for you to think about, and chances for you to push your thinking that you'll be very glad you tuned in. So thanks so much for checking out Thoughtful Leadership and the Thoughtful Leader podcast. I look forward to connecting with you very, very soon. Welcome to the show. My guest today is the amazing thoughtful leader, Dawn McGruer. Welcome, Dawn.
Hi, everyone.
It is really great to have you here. We've known each other for quite a while. We were reminiscing and we've lost count of the years. But what do you think? I'm going to jump straight in here. What do you think keeps people connected?
I think one of the biggest things that I've been talking about constantly, even for the past sort of 18 months to 2 years, is the power of communities. So instead of thinking about social networking in terms of, a platform and we're seeing people's content, I'm trying to get people to visualize it as a networking event. And I think this changes the psyche. So when we think about keeping the connections, and I think we've probably been in each other's worlds for probably about 20 years, is this constant flow of seeing what people are doing. And I think this is the key with social media. When we see accolade marketing about, you might have posted something that you've done or you've won, we all want to join and celebrate. And I think to keep connection, it's when we see that type of post that we want to kind of join in and really kind of look at that success. So it keeps that connection flowing.
This is, in fact, an area of expertise for you. So I was just asking because I like to keep connections going for many years, and I know you do too. But there's also strategic reasons. So the thing about the Thoughtful Leader podcast is we always want to kind of push beyond the obvious. And the obvious thing is you want lots of people to know about you because there's a funnel and, you'll get clients. It's not only about that, though, is it? Let's go a bit deeper. And what are your other thoughts about networking, connections, and keeping all of that bubbling away?
Yeah, it's a great topic. It's my favorite topic. And obviously working in the world of digital marketing, I've worked in online marketing since the internet began, literally since the internet began. And when we look at deepening that connection and building a relationship, it's about thinking about why you're connecting with someone and posting with purpose. So if you connect, you want to build on that relationship. So it has to be a two-way thing. You want to be able to engage in their content, and again, they'll reciprocate and engage in yours. So again, it brings it back to that sort of humanistic level where we want to be communicating like we would do in person. So instead of just contacting people, trying to build faceless audiences, we want to think about why we're connecting and really kind of personalize the message by looking at the profile, say on LinkedIn, and picking something from there. And then, when you're sending a message back, including that. So people feel that genuinely it's them that you are connecting with. There's a reason behind it. And then it's a conversation starter.
You've obviously been very successful with this strategy yourself. You're a people person, and that's great. Not everybody is, but you use that skill, I think, very effectively, and you've had a lot of success with it. So where would you say people go wrong? Let's talk about the mistakes and what not to do, because I'm sure you've seen that as well over the years.
Absolutely. And do you know what the number one thing is doing social media because other people are. And the key is that, with all these platforms, we want to be building an audience and getting engagement. And if you're not achieving those two things, your social media is not successful. It's not doing what the purpose that it's set out for is. And we have to think about why we're doing social media. So I always talk about turning our connections into customers. And not everybody in your network will buy from you. But they can be your biggest advocates, because over the years, and you probably had this too, I could know someone for 10 years, they'll be in my network, I've never met them, I've never worked with them, but because they see my posts and I'm on their radar, they feel comfortable with recommending me to other people. So if someone says, do you know someone who does digital marketing? Yeah, Dawn's your person. Now, that is successful networking, because you're not generating leads just from people that, you see as a potential customer, but these people are in your network and they have people in their networks. So for me, it's like the 6 degrees of separation. To have a powerful network is about working on the relationships with those people, telling people what you're doing. And, as they see posts, they see you scaling and growing, like we've seen each other in each other's worlds and how our businesses have moved on. And that to me is the essence of successful social media strategy.
Yes. Social media strategy. Well, you say it so eloquently and it just rolls off the tongue. I wonder how many people don't actually have a strategy for social media, but that's for another time, I think. Actually, no, that's for now, because my next question is around being thoughtful. And, strategy does require extra thought. This is why we love doing thought leadership strategy. We love it when people are willing to spend extra time and put extra care and consideration into their relationships, but also what they're putting out there into the world. So I think, we speak the same language, you and I. Where do you think more thoughtful leadership is required in business or in society?
I think it's about positioning yourself for really being authentic. And I think a good leader shows people what their mission and vision is and what they stand for, because that's what people will buy into. So I think we need to sort of have less focus on this corporate identity and stand forward as, public figures and leaders. And, that's what an influencer is. I think we see a lot of Instagram and, all these other social networks, but to be an influential and powerful leader is to sound strong and be comfortable with showing up and sharing your thoughts, your insights, advising on what the latest trends will be and, any tips and adding value. So I think to be a valuable member of a network and show up as a leader, it's about really kind of relating back to what you do and why you do it. And then I think that naturally builds an audience and positions you as an expert and a leader in your own field.
Yes, madam, that's exactly what we do. That's exactly what we talk about. And I think we have discovered this because, it's our nature. And, you and I and many of our listeners and viewers are on the bold end of the spectrum. Because, I talk about 24 karat bold, right? That's the goal, is to be bold and opinionated yet respectful, which requires thought and consideration. And it's not for everyone, because it does take that extra effort, if you want to call it that. So thank you for mentioning the word influencer. And I think that's a choice as well. People, if they want to, first of all, can you have a strategy to say, I'm going to be an influencer? Is it something that people can control? Or is it the way I talk about it? You put your best stuff out there, you kind of craft that thing and get it into the market, but then it's up to the market. What do you think?
I think it's about being powerful and being seen and found as an expert in your own niche. Now, that could be being an influencer in a network of 10 people. It really is relative to what that person is trying to do. So I don't think the word influencer necessarily describes it fully. I think I prefer to sort of say be an expert in your own niche or your field, because people may not be interested in what you have to say, if they're, interested in something completely outside your zone. So you want to be influential in your own powerful network. And I think it's about, instead of sitting there waiting for people to connect, about you stepping forward and thinking, who do I want in my network? What is going to be a powerful network? And for me, a powerful network is people who buy into your thoughts, your mission and your vision. people who are interested in your topic and people that you can add value back to. And I think that's what kind of builds a relationship. And then people start to comment, they like, they share, they'll recommend. So it's being seen and being found, I think, is key, so that people understand, number one, what you do and why they would need it. So for me, influencer, maybe not so much, but being influential, in your own network would be a better probably phrase for it.
Fabulous. We will definitely be talking about you and your thoughts on this. I don't know how much you've watched the show or listened to the show, but I like to get our guests to kind of open the kimono a bit. Don't worry, we're just metaphorically speaking, but we're into vulnerability here. And I know that this is part of engagement and building relationships. So I'm going to ask you, Dawn, if you were to be vulnerable right here, right now on the show, and talk about a mistake you have made in your life or business and how you turned it around, because obviously you're successful, would you be willing to share something with everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I started my podcast not long ago, and probably about a year ago, and I talk about marketing, motivation, and mindset. And these are the sort of three core principles that I believe, you need to be successful in business, be an entrepreneur or a business owner or corporate leader. But when I talk about vulnerability, one of the things I want to do is show up authentically and share some of my epic fails, business disasters, as well as my successes, because anybody, as you know, who starts out in business, it's not plain sailing. And I share some pretty mega fails that I've gone through. But, I talk about how you can rise from failure. And I've learned from every single failure I've made. And I have made huge amounts. And in my book, I actually share one of my very early failures, but it's actually pivoted to be my biggest success, because the way I was marketing myself when I started my agency at 21 was very naive. I was talking about, what I did and, position myself as a marketing consultant and talking to the person about what I did. And there was less emphasis and focus on really what they needed, which was the goal. And it was a bit like the old adage of me talking about the features rather than the benefits. So I was pushing. I was getting some success and some clients, but you know what? If I'd continued that way, it would have been the hardest slog. And, I'd probably have run out of clients, and I would have been spending a lot of money. I'd made the shift to actually showcase what I could do and started marketing very much more in a human way about client successes, case studies, testimonials, and trying to get them to visualize where they wanted to be. Because most people understand that they want to be here, and I had to build the bridge to show them how to get there. And that was the missing part. And it's a very big part that was missing from my marketing strategy. So I turned it around and it changed my business, absolutely changed my business in a matter of weeks, just in the way that I was talking to clients and marketing myself.
Well done for becoming aware and for making the shift, because some people just stay unaware for a long time. As you have grown in your business and your profile, you're, I can call you an influencer. You don't have to, but have you had haters? Have you had any detractors? And would you be willing to share your thoughts on that? So your experience, but also in general, what you think about the haters.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I did a video. I tend to pick topics that are a bit controversial and kind of try and make light into them. And my videos try and express, what has happened to me and how people should deal with it. And I did one called Embrace the Haters. Basically, I had put something out on social media. I think it was an ad. And someone started just telling me how much they hated my lipstick. I mean, it was just comical. But do you know what? In all honesty, I have been trolled. I have had lots of haters. And generally, it's when I'm talking about that end goal, and talking about success strategies and how people want to grow and scale. What actually happens is that, when you're talking to people, you're triggering something that is sensitive to them, that is an issue to them. And then it bubbles up and then they fight back against you. Now, it's because they're seeing something that genuinely they want or don't have. And, you can't be responsible for that trigger. You just have to embrace the haters and think, do you know what? It's really sad that you can't see the value in what I'm saying. Because if you show up authentically and you're adding value, then you have to put respect back into yourself, because you know that you're honestly giving to your audience. If someone else doesn't want to see it, you don't want them in that community. So if someone hates or trolls you, I just delete and block. If someone shows up and it's a customer issue or something like that, absolutely engage with them, take it offline. And quite honestly, when people see that someone makes a complaint and you talk it through and it's all resolved, people think, well, do you know what? If something did happen, if I invested in this business or service, at least I know there'll be a positive outcome and resolve. So you've just turned it into positive PR. So for me, I just think, feel that, true with what you want to share, and all will be well. And if someone doesn't see that value, just remove them from your radar.
Oh, I have had to do that a few times as well. I recommend and advocate and write about being bold. And as I said before, that includes being respectful. But some people have forgotten about that aspect. They focus on the bold and that's it. And, some people really have a need for attention, and, there's lots of things going on that make them want to pull someone else down or, have a poke at them, and the triggers that you were talking about. One of my best strategies is to go offline, completely offline, and find supportive friends, because we know who they are. And okay, it's not completely offline because I get my phone out, but I use the actual phone and I call one of my contacts and talk it through. And if you're part of a mastermind group, or if you're part of any kind of supportive community, that is a way to kind of get your mojo back. Because I do hear you, and it's like, have that respect for yourself and go, but it's not always easy, is it?
No, it's not. I mean, it's about having social etiquette. You show up in a way online that you want to behave as you would in person. And I think the thing is no one deserves to have slander or abuse. And, it's respecting your own values. And as you say, reaching out to your support network, because sometimes it is upsetting, and sometimes you just think, that was so unjustified. But generally, it's because the person is not in that position of power. And what happens is they may be feeling depressed, overwhelmed. They could have had a particularly bad day, and you've just caught them on that time. So I think we have to understand that when someone is doing that they're not in the perfect place of mindset. And, you're not getting the best or seeing the best of that person. So if you turn it on its head, we probably all have days like that ourselves, where we're not really feeling that we want to show up online. So I'd say exactly that. Go offline, go for a walk, take some time out. Sometimes I don't want to be on social media, and people think that that's crazy because I work in online marketing, but I show up in LinkedIn in a way that I want to, in a way that feels authentic to me, and maybe spend 10 minutes a day on it. I don't spend my life on social media, and I would never advocate someone does this. You have to think about what you want to gain from it and how you want to show up, because each person's different. If you don't want to do lives, don't do lives. If you don't want to go live every day in your group, don't do it. So you have to find something that you're not going to procrastinate over, something that feels comfortable, but something that puts you in your genius zone, so that when you do show up, the audience get the best of you, and vice versa.
Yes, please show up in your genius zone. Please, guys. This is so important, because people, I would say most people never fulfill their true potential, but, we know this. And this podcast is there to inspire people to think a bit bigger, do a bit more, go a bit deeper, and reach out in the way that they know they can. So with the few minutes left, what are you most excited about right now, Dawn?
I am super excited because one of the programs that I've wanted to do for many years, I mean, you'll know what it's like. You come up with an idea, but you have lots of projects going on. So, for years and years and years, probably past 15 to 20, I've been heavily involved in my agency, my academy, and I'm super proud of those. But one of the things that I felt that is I wanted to really work on a deeper level with entrepreneurs and business owners and leaders. And the shift that I'm making is about what you've just talked about, having aspirational goals that feel truly achievable. And it's back to full circle, building that bridge, like from my first epic fail to my first realization of what works. So I feel that, my podcast name, Dawn of a New Era, is really kind of where I'm at. I've been reborn to kind of really look at my own purpose and what my true potential is and reflect that in the way I work with clients. So the program that I have, the Power Circle, is about these aspirational goals, about pushing the limits, because sometimes we have a belief or a failure that's happened in our life that's stopping us or hindering us. And it's about kind of recognizing it, embracing it, feeling it, but then really thinking about, what do we want? What is our purpose? And we might think we know what it is, but even my purpose is ever evolving and my potential is ever evolving, because each day we learn, we progress, we grow, and so should our dreams and goals. So this is what I'm so excited about. I cannot wait to be working more and more with people on this, because I think we need this, for sure, with the past years that we've had.
Yes, definitely. Thank you very much for sharing that. I'm sure people will want to reach out to you. All the information, everybody, it's in the show notes. You know how to do it. You look there, connect with her. You can already see and hear this woman has something very special to offer. So I am really, really grateful that you've chosen to spend this time with us today, Dawn. And we have probably got so much more to talk about. We might have to get you on the podcast again at some point. Would that be okay?
Absolutely. I love it. I mean, I think one of the biggest things with the podcast, when I started mine, is the connectivity and meeting people. It's given me a reason to reach out to brand new people in my network, but also to re-engage with people that I have known for many years. So it's been a pleasure, and it's been great to see you again too.
Take care. Have a great day ahead, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Thoughtful Leader, and I hope it's inspired you to be more thoughtful as a leader in your business. Please consider subscribing and leaving a review. An important question for you. Do you want to create a culture of thought leadership in your organization? My best-selling book, The Thoughtful Leader, is available now on Amazon and many other sites in paperback, ebook, and audiobook formats. Please visit www.mindygk.com for more great content. That's www.mindygk.com. Speak to you again soon.